Filipino young adult novelist Kate Evangelista recently launched her book Til Death, which is the first book of the trilogy Fractured Souls. And to tell us more about this, and let's also get to know more about Kate, she's here with us at Daybreak. Good morning, Kate, and welcome to Daybreak.
Thank you so much for having me, and good morning to all your viewers. I'm really happy to be here to be able to share Til Death with everybody.
Well, I'm also happy to meet you because I finished Til Death last night, and I must say it was an enjoyable read. The characters, especially the non-human characters, were in my mind, in my dreams. I'm telling you. So, I have a sense that you enjoyed making this book, Til Death. How do you come up with stories?
Well, usually when it comes to inspiration, I try to keep myself open to everything and anything. Maybe a line in a song or a pretty picture, or I think if you open yourself up that way, you are able to bring in more creativity into your life. So when it comes to Til Death, I actually dreamt of my own death, which is kind of morbid. But the thing is, I think everybody has that.
Yeah.
But the thing with me is, what freaked me out was when I woke up, I knew I died in the dream, but I don't remember how. But as any self-respecting writer, instead of really allowing it to control my life and to freak me out, I wrote about it instead. So here comes Selena, and she says, "Hey, here's my story," and I'm like, all right, let's write this together. So it came from that small nugget of waking up from a nightmarish situation and then turning it into something creative.
Now, how do you come up with your characters? Is it like a vision in your mind that comes, or do you like meticulously think about a character or refer it to somebody that you know? How do you make your characters?
Actually, my characters are like people in themselves. They're already formed, and I do have apartment complexes in my head where they all live. So each apartment complex is a book where all the characters are. And they basically just introduce themselves to me, and they say, "Hi, I'm Selena Fallon. This is who I am. This is what I look like, and this is my story." And then I sit down and start typing. So a lot of my followers know I keep calling myself a glorified typist because technically it's their story, and I just really listen and follow and maybe add a little bit here and there. But at the end of the day, it's really them who drives the story.
So it's a retelling of what you see in your mind in that apartment complex.
Yes.
So this particular one, it's Til Death. It's a Fractured Souls novel. It's a trilogy. This is part one.
Part one, yes.
And then you really write for young adults. I mean, is that a conscious choice to write for young adults? And have you always been interested in the paranormal, or it was just because of that dream?
In terms of writing for young adults, I love that age range between 12, 13 to 18 because it's a time in our lives where we're discovering so many things, and a lot of firsts happen. First crush, first kiss, and with that discovery, you add a little magic and the paranormal to that. It becomes an adventure fantasy type of thing, and it adds so much more entertainment to the life that we live, which I believe is what good reading is about. Is you're entertained and you basically understand what the characters are going through, except that there are magical beings mixed in.
Yes.
When it comes to the paranormal, I've always loved that because when I was younger, my yaya would tell me stories because she's from Capiz, and she would tell me stories about ghosts and manananggal. So I grew up with that.
So that's why you have the banshees and the manticores.
It's part of my life, and it's a very very interesting aspect of our life.
Yes.
And I love incorporating that into my stories as well. I think it makes it fun because everybody believes in something or has felt something that they can't exactly explain. I think that's why the paranormal genre is very popular.
Well, it's quite interesting your path towards being a full-fledged writer, because in the beginning you were hesitant at first, even if your friends and your family were already telling you that you have a gift for writing, but yet in college you took up pre-med instead.
Yes, I ended up in the human biology course of De La Salle Taft, and because I thought that that's just what you do. You either go into med or become a lawyer, an accountant, and but I never really thought of my passion for writing as a career path. I didn't really know that authors can be, that you can be a writer as a career.
Yes.
Even if I read books by authors that I love.
Yes.
So I did the practical thing and went into medicine.
But what made you?
Yeah,
when did you know that writing was really what you wanted to do?
It was basically like a year into the course, and then I realized I don't think I want to keep studying just to pass. And I know that medicine is such a it's also a passion in itself. You have to be selfless in that profession also, and then I started thinking, what else do I really want to do with my life? So I walked into the literature department and said, oh, home, and never looked back really.
Yes, and apart from Till Death, you have other books as well. In the beginning, since you're published by an international publisher, right?
Yes.
By Macmillan actually
Yes.
distributes your books. Before it was only available in Amazon, but
Yes.
now it's locally available here in the
Yes.
Philippines. So
Yes.
that's good news for those who've been watching out for your novels. So okay, so we have Selena Fallon
Yes.
and the good-looking Dylan Sloan with
Yes.
dark hair and blue eyes. Yeah, I still remember. And of course, Selena Fallon here is the main character in the book. And then, so this is already available in the market now.
Yes.
And as I've said, I read the book. The endings, I'm telling you, the twists and turns that you can think about. I mean, you think that you already know what happens next, but you really make all these, something new comes about. And definitely you'd want to wait for part 2. So when is it going to be?
We'll count about 6 months.
6 months.
So maybe about the end of this year or the beginning of next year.
Beginning of next
Yes,
year.
let's cross our fingers.
Okay, so they're still like in that apartment building of yours
Yes.
and telling you what's going to happen next.
And believe me, it's gonna be crazy. It's crazy. And the first chapter alone is, when I was conceptualizing it and I was listening to, because it's going to be with this book, the points of view are between Selena and Dylan.
Yes.
So it's going to start again with Dylan's point of view and the way he's describing it to me, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait.
I can't wait too. I'm telling you, once you get to the ending, you'd want to go to part 2 immediately after. Kate, thank you so much for joining us this morning, and we look forward to reading more of your novels.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you. That's Kate Evangelista. She's the novelist for Till Death. Okay, now Gwyneth Paltrow and her husband of 10 years call it quits. That story and other entertainment news next. You're still watching Daybreak on the Solar News Channel.